Hello, today I'm going to show you how to access e-resources on Blackburn's website. To begin, go to Lumpkin Library's homepage. If you can't remember the URL, which is blackburn.edu/library, you can scroll down to the bottom of any Blackburn page and click the Library Resources link. Once at the library's main page, you'll see that there are 3 links. The first link is the catalog, and you would go there if you were looking for books, whether physical or electronic. But today we're mostly going to concentrate on the e-resources page. This is where you will find our collection of academic databases. That's where you'll find academic literature and peer-reviewed, credible resources that you can use on your papers and assignments. Now on the e-resources page, you'll see a table of contents. You'll see that we have something called interlibrary loan, which I'll talk about later. But today we're going to focus on our databases. I want you to primarily start your research with subscription databases. These are databases that we pay for, which means that they're well vetted and library approved. If you click one of these links, it'll bump you down to that part of the page. Or you're welcome to just scroll down. But if you look at our multidisciplinary databases, our top 2 databases are Academic Search Complete and JSTOR. Now these have research compiled from many different angles, including all academic fields and disciplines. So you're going to be able to approach your topic from multiple vantage points and have a lot of resources to use at your disposal. So I always recommend using Academic Search Complete, and then also after that, check into JSTOR, and then look at any of these other databases that might be useful. If you're trying to decide whether a database might be useful, you can click this plus and then read the description to see if the things in there would be useful for your purposes. So let's take a look at Academic Search Complete. So to get into one of our resources, you'll be asked to log in. This box is going to ask you to put in your barcode number and the last 4 digits of your phone number. Your barcode number is the 13-digit number on the back of your student ID. And the phone number is whatever you turned in when you enrolled at Blackburn. Now, if you don't have a student ID or you don't know what your information is, you can always email me, jeremy.mcinich@blackburn.edu, and I can recover that information for you and we'll get you into the databases. Now, when you get into Academic Search Complete and most of our databases, you'll be faced with an interface that looks just like this. Now, I realize there's a lot going on, but I want to try to simplify it for you. So these fields over here, unless you know about a particular article and a title to search for, or a particular author to search for, then you can just go ahead and leave these as they are, the default of all fields. What I recommend doing when you're first starting with a topic is just use keyword subject searching and put your keywords in these boxes. Now let's say I have a topic and I picked one for this tutorial. What if we're interested in knowing what is the most effective training method for a service dog? How might we search for that in a database? Well, don't search for it as a phrase or a sentence in this box because this is not Google and it won't work that well. What you need to do is break your topic down into its basic concepts and then load them into these boxes. And I'll show you how that works. So let's start with our most basic concept, which is service dog. And then we're interested in knowing how to train them or what training might be the most effective. Now what this is going to do is it's going to force the database to bring back articles that include the words service dogs and training and effectiveness. So only articles that have all 3 will come back, which will ensure that what we get should be somewhat relevant to our topic. Now you'll see that we only got 8 results, which is not going to be enough for us to become fully informed on our topic. It's not going to be enough for us to make an argument one way or the other, and it's not going to give us enough resources to back up our points. So we need to find a way to get more articles. And if you're wondering why there aren't more articles in this large database, it's because different authors are likely using different terms or different words to refer to our concepts. So what we would like to do is find out what these other words might be and search for them all at the same time. So you can do that by going back to your advanced search. And if you type in the word or after your initial concept, you'll see that the database recommends other words that you can use to search at the same time. We'll go ahead and grab one of those. You can do that for each one of your concepts. Now what this will do is force the database to bring back articles that have either one of these two terms plus at least one of these two terms plus at least one of these two terms, which means that the results will still again be relevant. And we're not so worried about which word exactly is brought back, just as long as we get one from each of our main conceptual boxes. Now you'll see that we have a lot more results, but we can keep adding words and get as many results as possible if we brainstorm other synonyms. Okay, just think of words that you know are synonyms to the terms that we have. Additionally, you can do outside research. You could go to Wikipedia or some other credible website and try to learn what words people in the know or experts are using to refer to our concept and to the words in our topic. Additionally, you can look at the articles that you already have that are relevant and see if there are any words in the title or in the description that might be useful. You always want to look at the abstract, which is a summary of your article, to see if they say anything that you could grab. Additionally, you always want to check the database supplied keywords, which are called subject terms, just in case something might be useful. And I don't see anything here unless we decided we were interested in the term puppies for dogs. So as you discover new words, you can go ahead and search for them and try to see what different sets of articles they produce. Or you could keep a master list of all your terms and search for them at once to kind of cast an exhaustive net. I did that this time because I wanted you guys to see just how many articles we can get. So through my research, I found out that a lot of articles are using the word canine for dog. And then I found that there are a lot of words for training. In particular, conditioning or obedience is often used in reference to dogs. We'll see that these were some pretty good words as well. So let's hit search and see. Okay, we now have 299 articles, which is a lot better. Now I want to show you one more trick. Let's say that you've done all the synonyms you can think of and you're not finding enough articles. Well, as long as you're in a database that's owned by EBSCOhost, they've actually given us the ability to search all of the databases that we purchase from them at the same time. And the way you want to do that is you go up here to searching. You see Academic Search Complete, which is the database that we're in. If you click that and you select all, you can force it to search all of the different databases owned by EBSCO that we can access. And this way you don't have to go back to the e-resources page and go individually into each database to search for your concepts. Now you'll see we have over 1,500 articles, which is probably more than we can handle. But it's good to know that there's a lot that we can look through to see if we can't get a number of articles for our paper. So let's say we wanted to refine our results and make sure that everything's relevant. I have some tips for that as well. You can use filters to limit your results. Let's say you only wanted articles that were full text. And what that means is you only want articles that are all there. You don't just want ones that only include summaries. Let's say that you've been told by your professor that you need peer-reviewed literature, so then go ahead and click that. Peer review is just the rigorous process of evaluation that articles must go through before they earn the right to be published in a peer-reviewed journal. So other PhD holders will review an article before it's passed off to the editor and then included in a journal. So you can go ahead and click that. And then additionally, you may have been told by your professor that you need to get a more recent article, so you can go ahead and filter out to just the last 5 years if you'd like. You can also filter by things like document type and language. Another way that you can filter out large groups of articles is to add another field and add more concepts to your topic. So let's say you are interested in service dogs that help the visually impaired, and that alone, you could type in visually impaired in this last box and get only those articles. Or Let's say you were finding a lot of articles for something like service dogs that work with people who suffered PTSD, and you didn't want to get those in your results list. You could click Not, and you could just type PTSD and then filter those articles out. Now, another thing I want to remind you is if you find any articles that you even think might be halfway useful, I encourage you to download them right away just so that you have access to them and you don't lose them. Now, if you can't download, you have a couple of other options. So if there's a full text available for you to download, after you hit access, you'll see PDF or online full text, and just choose whichever version that you prefer. Now, if there's no full text, if this is only a summary of an article, there'll be a different option that'll say request through interlibrary loan. Now you can click that button, fill out a form, and I try to find that article and have it emailed to you. Additionally, if you're in one of our databases like JSTOR that doesn't have a button for interlibrary loan, then you can go back to that link on the eResources page called Interlibrary Loan. You want to access WorldCat Interlibrary Loan, and you can order it from that interface. Or you can always just email me, jeremy.mcinich@blackburn.edu, and I will go ahead and try to find you your article. Now, another way to save articles if you don't have access to them in full text, but you want to ensure that you'll be able to find them later, go ahead and copy the title and the author, okay, so that you can retrace your steps and find that article. Again, you can also just collect all your keywords to ensure that you'll find your way back. Another thing you can do is grab the citation information. If you go inside an article, you go up here to this quotation mark, you'll see the official citation for this article. Let's say your professor has asked you to use MLA or maybe Chicago APA. Click the one you want, and then you can copy and paste this citation into another document so that you can A, start to build out a reference list for yourself for when you need to turn your paper in, and B, be able to discover this article again if you weren't able to download a full text copy right away. Okay, so this has been a basic tutorial on how to find articles in a database. Many of the tips that I showed you in this EBSCOhost database, Academic Search Complete, will also work in other databases like JSTOR. If you're finding that you're having trouble accessing enough articles about a particular topic, don't give up on it. Send me an email and I can try to help you. I have a lot more tricks up my sleeve. Thanks for listening and happy searching.